Ciao, sono Sara Z da La La Land. Incontrerò grandi ospiti provenienti da ogni parte del mondo. Quattro chiacchiere di condivisione culturale e linguistica per scoprire le loro vite e storie. Enjoy!
Hello, hello.
Marco!
Buongiorno.
Ciao, buongiorno! Because Mark speaks a great Italian.
Yeah,
And we're gonna speak in Italian today. No,
the entire time,
the
right?
entire time. I'm with Mark Apka. Did I pronounce it right?
I
Your
don't
last name?
even think I know how to pronounce it properly. Yeah, so that works. Hapka, Hapka,
Apka.
they all
So
work.
your last name, Mark, is Czech origin, right?
Czech Polish, yeah.
Czech Polish. Because your parents were from there?
My grandparents were from, my grandparents on my father's side are from Poland.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And I was reading your bio on Wikipedia. And by the way, everyone, you can check Mark Apka out, and it's gonna be easier than me doing all the all the resume. And you were born in Buffalo, New York, right?
hmm
And then you moved to Rome in New York, and then you
hmm
studied music in Syracuse, New York. I was reading, and it's bizarre that those two like Italian names, like Syracuse and Rome, but in the United States.
In the United States.
Yeah, but I've been
Anytime I
traveling.
would say, like growing up, anytime I'd say, oh, I'm from Rome, I'm from Rome. They're like, Italy? I'm like, no, New York. Definitely a different
I
place.
know. And then I studied in Syracuse. Oh, in Italy, not in New York. So kind of Italy have been part of your path because you have relatives in Italy. You have like ancestors, Italian ancestors.
hmm
Uh, you
Great,
do?
great, yeah, great grandparents from my mother's side are from Sicily, and I'm still learning a lot about this. I just grew up knowing I was Italian because I was raised very in a very Italian American household. So, and that's why Rome is also a very Italian American area in upstate New York. But yeah,
Oh,
that's all I know so far is that I have great grandparents of Italian origin, and my grandfather, I think they came over and then he was born
okay.
In America.
Mark, I might translate something in Italian
Please.
just to, yeah, make sure for the Italian audience. So Mark, lui ha studiato negli Stati Uniti e ha dei nonni del Sud Italia, vero South Italy, right? Your grandfather's from South. Okay, I'm
hmm
going to translate just here and there something.
Please.
So I,
I'll try to keep
I,
up.
I, I had a lot of people, a lot of Italians asking me, "Oh, what do you have to do to be an actor in LA, or what's the path to follow to be an actor?" So I thought about you because I saw your work, and for me, and I'm genuinely saying that for me, you're a great actor. What I saw, it was
Thank you.
wonderful, and so I'd like to know more about be an actor in fare l'attore a Los Angeles. What does it mean? Cosa significa? What was your path? How was your path of becoming an actor? How did you start? Come hai iniziato?
Okay, I can speak of my path. Yeah, there's definitely many routes and many paths. And for some people, it happens right away, and for some people, there's a lot of investment, and a decade can go by, and then it finally, their hard work pays off. But for me, it was always a thought. I grew up doing a lot of community theater and really loving acting. And through my high school years, I was kind of struggling between the path of music or the path of acting. Uh, I always had a desire to direct from a young age as well, but acting would be my segue into that, which I'm doing now. But yeah, my path was more or less the old school, just like pack up your bags and head to Hollywood type thing. So
So,
I
did you study were you in a film school in New York?
not in New York,
Or
no, I was just
no?
doing the only thing that I really had because I lived upstate, not in the city. So the only thing I really had access to there was some university studies, but mostly community theater and just kind of like doing the acting and
Oh, quindi
learning from
recitare, like doing
experience.
like the performance, right?
Exactly,
Like that
exactly. Like
experience.
performing on stage, making little short films with friends, and like all the silly stuff you do in the beginning. That really, I think, sets the foundation for what kind of an artist you become. you know, with when you can work with almost um, no amenities, then you can really make something special, you know. Uh, but yeah, for me, it was just to pick up and drive. I talked about it for a while, then I set a date, and then I packed a U-Haul trailer and put it on the back of my Nissan
Wow.
Maxima, and I
I
just drove here. I'd never even been here either. I just drove here.
Oh, you drove, hai guidato fino a qui, hai impacchettato tutto quanto e sei venuto qui a Hollywood, the land of the dreams, or I don't know, dreams or illusion, I don't know. For some people, maybe illusion. Non
It's
lo
what you
so.
make of it.
Yeah, but what made you say I wanna act? Because you studied music. What made you decide that acting was more your talent or your career would have been your career?
Well, the simple answer to that is I really enjoyed doing it. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed the camaraderie of it and the family that I built through it. You know, as a kid, when you're going through the woes of high school, you kind of find your group and your thing to distract you so you can get through it all.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that for me. But also just, you know, as you go through deciding what you want to do with your life and what you want to be, like for me, acting is the opportunity to kind of dip your toe in all the waters and really explore different acts of life or walks of life. Like if you, there are times where I was like, I'd love to be a firefighter. I'd be really good at calm under, you know, heavy situations, and I'd love to save lives and all that stuff. But like, then I realized that I can do each one of those to an extent by the roles that I play in my projects. And if I want to learn what it's like to be a firefighter, I can do a project as a firefighter and visit fire halls and talk to firefighters and understand what goes into it.
Right,
And
like
each,
to prepare for your character. Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
I played a high school wrestler, but I'd never wrestled before. So like training and learning how to wrestle and really realizing
Yeah,
how.
how was about that film, Mark? I haven't seen the film, but I saw the trailer and it showed a lot. How was the preparation for that film? You played
It
a,
was intense because you know, my character had to play a state championship wrestler, and to be a state champ, there's a relaxability to you know, that type of person. So the learning the moves, learning how to maneuver through them, but then finding a way to relax them as though I've been doing them forever was the process, you know.
and also I'm
Um,
sure like do you have to pay attention also how the camera is shooting you, like so you have to be intense when you fight, but at the same time you need to know there's an external eye looking at you, like
Yeah,
watching.
it
I
adds
mean,
another layer to like making sure that you're cheating out and opening up to the camera so they see you. And then like
wow.
the really silly moments are like close-ups for things when you're getting somebody into some type of a hold, and you have to sit there and cradle this other man and like have people spray sweat on your face because it's the middle of the scene and you're just kind of holding him
Okay,
like a
I'm so
baby. Yeah,
tired.
holding him like a baby, waiting for him to call action and kind of laughing your way through it. Like there's a silliness to it as well. But to kind of wrap up that first question is just like getting involved, being able to play a football player, learning about what it's like to be a lawyer. Like you start to gain a real appreciation for that line of work and understand what goes into it. So you know, it's just that for me, acting is the best way to explore all of the human experience.
Yeah. And is there another way of being, let's say, relieved by maybe life problems, like while you're acting, to be away from reality as well for you? Or I know maybe for
Well,
me, for I acted a little bit, but there was an escape, maybe. Non so.
yeah, it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be an escape, but I mean the number one rule that is very important with when you step onto any set is letting go of everything else that's going on in life, because
Yeah.
unless it serves you specifically to the character you're playing, it can only inhibit you. So you have to be very careful about that. But yeah, if you're fighting with your mom and you're pissed off at her and then you're going into a scene where you're having an argument, like bring it in, get it out.
It's
It's therapy.
perfect,
Yeah.
perfetta.
And then
Esatto.
apologize to your actor and be like, look, I'm going to let you have it because, you know, I
Sì.
got all this building up inside of me.
I'm gonna translate very quick because I don't wanna disjoin the conversation. Like, and
Take your
sometimes
time.
this is what happened when I translate. But anyways, Marco, because your name is Marco. ha detto che per lui recitare comunque è un modo per interpretare diversi personaggi. Se lui vuole essere un pugile, come in effetti ha interpretato in uno dei suoi film, lo può fare perché si può preparare per quel tipo di personaggio. O anche per interpretare un vigile del fuoco. I was thinking about the word in Italia, like a firefighter, like anche un vigile del fuoco. So there's a lot of preparation, c'è molta preparazione, e questo che lui ama del recitare. But you, Mark, acted a lot in theater. Is there a difference for you acting for theater and in front of a camera?
Yes.
Like, do you enjoy, what do you enjoy most? Che cosa ti piace di più?
I enjoy both for different reasons. So when you're on a stage and you're working in front of a live audience, you get to like feed off of the energy of the audience. And like if something you do is funny or like drastic and you feel the response of the audience, it kind of fuels you forward. So it's that aspect, especially in comedy, is a lot of fun because laughter really just puts you on the roll, you know? But also with film, you get to play more with subtlety. So you can think something and the camera is going to pick it up because your eyes don't lie. You can't be as subtle on stage because it just kind of looks like a person in the distance standing there if you're working through something. So there's a different level of expression that happens on stage versus on a set. And even like if I wanted to work gently through a scene, I can do that. And you can barely hear me, exactly, but I can do that through like on camera because there's a microphone right there and there's a boom above me that's picking it up. But on stage,
so everything is
speak
more
up.
realistic. Yeah, I think in front of the camera, everything is more real life situation. Theater has to be, deve essere tutto grande per il teatro perché l'ultima persona deve vederti. The last person has to see you or has to hear you. Deve sentirti.
Yes.
Yes, and maybe
but then
even the emotions, right? In front of the camera has to be, because Marco ha detto che gli occhi non mentono. I really like this, like your eyes don't lie. I tuoi occhi non mentono, quindi tutto deve essere più misurato, più sottile, more subtle.
Yeah, absolutely. No, please. And if you want to translate more often in between, so you don't have to remember everything I say, then just like start talking and I'll shut up.
Okay. Yeah. Sì, vabbè.
Yeah. So
I do my best.
Yeah. I'm down. Yeah, just do what you got to do. But I think with what was the thought that I had? With all of that, like it's still the balance is still finding a way to keep the performance grounded, whether you are expressing yourself largely or subtly. And when you do find that groove, like it's still the same experience. You're still expressing all of the research and work you've done on the role, and then living in that present moment, you're able to express it.
And also, I'm sure, like for theater, I never acted in theater. I've been a dancer like that, but I always thought, how can an actor learn so many lines for theater and remembering everything? Like for a film, I think you have. Not I think it is like that. You have shorter lines, to act, to learn. Instead, for the theater, you have to carry out like a very long performance. So, like, was it easy for you, like, for theater, like memorizing so many lines, or like, did it ever happen to forget? Ti è mai successo di dimenticare delle battute per una pièce a teatro?
Well, the way you explain that makes a lot of sense, and I can see how that would be a difficult thing. I'd also argue that it's really hard for like television sometimes. So with theater, you learn through doing. There's an extensive rehearsal process. You're showing up every day, you're holding your book, you're reading through it. Eventually you do it so many times that you're just like, it in your sleep. That's the goal, at least. With a TV job or a movie job, you got to show up on set already memorized. And sometimes that means you're learning it on your own and you haven't really done it out loud with somebody. So there's the chance that you might flub a line in that sense because the pressure is high, because it's like cameras rolling, time to go. But on opening night, hopefully you've had enough weeks of rehearsal where you've done this so many times that it's like saying your ABCs.
It's like in your body, like
you can do exactly. It's part of you. and when you lose a line on stage, like I've seen it happen. It's probably happened to me. You you also rely on your counterpart to like you end up finding your,
Like,
you know, in class it's happened to me.
your eyes wide
In
open.
acting, yeah, in acting class it's happened for me because acting class is very much like theater. You're doing your scene in front of people in class. At least prior to COVID, we were doing that. But you're doing this in front of people. So if you drop your line and the other person doesn't have their cue, that you find out where to pick up, and you pick up somewhere in the scene that you both know, and you find your way through. But in like a great example
sure,
for me,
you have to feel your partner, your acting partner. Like there has to
exactly.
deve esserci proprio un'unione, like a
Yeah,
if you can say
you have
it,
each other's back. You have each other's back for sure.
Mark, does age make a difference for acting? Like, can you act at any age? I mean, let's talk about here in Los Angeles. We are in LA, Hollywood. What do you think about age?
What I think about age is you asked me if can you act at any age?
Yeah, can you act?
I'll ask you this: are you a human at any age?
Sì.
Yeah.
Però sai perché qui
grandpas exist in TV shows. Toddlers exist in movies. So the age doesn't matter. You can act at any age, and there's always going to be a role available.
Maybe let's say, Mark, age in order to make it, the way they say here in LA. Because sometimes I hear, oh my God, it's 30, you're already old. At 30, you need to have already a life.
That's an illusion. That's an illusion. I mean, that's just like, for some people feel that because they make it very real through what people say. But there are look at Bryan Cranston, look at well, what's his name that played the James Bond. Some of these people we didn't even know about until they're in their 40s or 50s. There are women that like Daniel Craig,
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman, yeah, was in I think Tootsie and Midnight Cowboy, but he was like in his 30s at that point. Like when your career takes off is when you decide that you're going to stay committed to it. You know what I mean? Like it happens when it happens. And the idea, if you're choosing to be an actor, you're choosing to be an actor for the rest of your life. There's no like, I'm going to try that. You can try the acting thing for 10 years. And then if it doesn't pan out, which it most likely won't with that attitude, then you will move forward. But it's always going to be available to you. And it's timing. It's mostly timing. It's talent meets timing. And you put the work in, and eventually you're going to come across the perfect role that like catapults you into opportunity.
Be at the right time, in the right moment, right? Essere nel momento giusto al posto giusto. Ho chiesto a Mark se l'età è importante, soprattutto qui a Los Angeles, perché dicono quello che si sente. L'età è importante, che a 30 anni devi avere già una vita tua formata, devi avercela già fatta. Invece lui dice: ma tu smetti di essere un umano a un'età precisa? No, perché viviamo delle esperienze, we live experiences, so we don't stop being human. So you can act at any age, any time, and we were talking about, stavamo parlando di alcuni attori come Dustin Hoffman che hanno avuto una bellissima carriera a un'età già avanzata, perché Dustin Hoffman nel film Tootsie aveva, mi sembra, già 40 anni, credo, Dustin Hoffman. He was in his 40s. But anyways, talking about you, then you landed a great role in Days of Our Lives, che in italiano, aspetta che leggo, Il tempo della nostra vita. That's the title in Italian of the soap opera you were in. How was that experience, Mark? You did 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Days of Our Lives.
I think a little under 3 years and over 600 episodes, which gives you an idea of how quickly.
Com'è stata la tua esperienza nella soap opera Il tempo della nostra vita, Days of Our Lives? How was it for you? Also, I think acting for the soap opera is different than acting in a
Absolutely.
film, vero?
Absolutely. Like soap actors are some of the hardest working actors in the industry. You're learning so much dialogue in such a short amount of time. You're shooting sometimes 2 episodes a day. There would be nights that I'd go home and have to learn 40 pages of dialogue to be ready for the next day. And usually things they move so quick that there's three cameras set up in different areas, and you have to know your blocking to know which camera you're catering to while also remembering the dialogue and getting through it all in one take, because each camera is picking up a different angle, and it's almost like theater. You're going and you're performing, and it's being captured by each camera, and then you're moving on. So it's not like in movies where you're going to be like, all right, let's shoot at the wide, let's get warmed up. All right, well, let's move in for some medium shots. Let's move in for your close-ups. Let's turn it around. Let's get there. You're not doing it as many times. So it moves very quickly. But the memorizing, I think that's what I was alluding to when I was saying that it's harder, I think, for TV than it is for a play to remember lines, because you move quickly. And there are definitely moments on the soap where I would be in the middle of the scene and suddenly blank on what the next line is, and you have to just turn it into a moment and look at the other person and really collect yourself. And and they can cut that gap if they have to. Oh, I mean, one particular thing that comes to mind was I remember saying, hey, we actually wrote this monologue and said that we want to have in the scene that we're literally walking to shoot right now. So they hand it to me as I'm walking, and I'm sitting there and I'm going through, and I'm just trying to like bring in the information, and then I'm holding it in there. I'm in my spot, and they go, and in 3, 2, and then I just drop the paper and I start talking. And you get so used to learning, it's muscle memory. You get so used to doing that daily that you can do, our potential is much higher than we think it is for memorizing. And you might not remember it 5 minutes later, but you can remember it to get through.
In that moment, like you were like that, you memorized the monologue. So
yeah, so go ahead, sorry.
Sì, scusami,
Translate.
scusa, che per recitare in una soap opera in Days of Our Lives è totalmente diverso che recitare in un film. Per esempio ci sono 3 camere che si muovono, tutto è a un ritmo molto veloce, molto più che in un film, ovviamente nel teatro. E lui ha raccontato una breve storia. Prima di andare sul set gli hanno dato un monologo che ha dovuto imparare in pochissimo tempo, quindi devi essere pronto. Ma it's a muscle memory, è come si può dire? Muscle memory, it's una memoria muscolare. I don't know. In Italian, I don't know. I love in English muscle memory. It's better than in Italian. But do you have any experience, not experience, but any fact or situation that happened while you were shooting Days of Our Lives? Something funny or something memorable for you? Qualcosa che ti è rimasto impresso mentre recitavi nella serie TV? Maybe still today you're thinking about, oh my God, when I did that, or like, oh, when we did that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those. I mean, that being on that set was just a lot of fun in general, because everyone was like a family and we got along, and we'd be goofy in between. And one thing that came to mind when you said that, though, is I remember shooting a very like romantic scene at a picnic with my future fiance, and we're drinking wine and talking to each other, and like right in the middle of her line, like some air went up her throat and made like a little throat burp and like a noise, and I was like, was that a throat burp? And we would like improvise a little bit. So that was the thing that like made us
sorry,
laughing.
Mark, you said, what did you have? I'm sorry.
You know when your stomach growls, or like air moves in like your body, like it was very quiet, and we just heard this air move up her throat, and it just went and I was like, was that a throat burp? And then we just started laughing. So things like that definitely happen, and then we take it back a step in the scene, and then we pick up where we left off.
Okay.
But
so of course you do it again, la rifate ovviamente, sì. Perché lui diceva hanno sentito il rumore dell'aria nella gola quando viene dallo stomaco, e ovviamente si sono messi a ridere, è stato un momento divertente. Oh, I can imagine how many pivotal moments or great moments you in 3 years of in that TV series, that soap opera you have lived. And right now, are you filming, Mark? Right now, stai lavorando in qualche progetto? Are you working on any project?
In this moment, I'm not. I wrapped a movie about a couple weeks ago. That was my first like feature back since COVID has happened. So there's a lot of, it's different.
So
it's really great to be working again.
Film, I remember because we were texting each other for the live, and you told me a great story. Do you want to share it about your COVID experience?
Oh, that'll be a long
It's
experience.
a long.
Yeah, that's a really long one. But in general, I will say that like it's very difficult now to be filming because there's so many precautions that have to be taken, and we're being tested constantly, and our temperatures being checked, and you're gonna have false positives that people think they have it, and then it shuts down production, and they find out they don't have it, and then like it's gonna pick back up, and it's just it costs more money, it takes more patience. You're having masks on in between, and it's more difficult, but I'm also very grateful to be creating again. And I have another one that I'm in preparation for coming up in the beginning of December as well,
Oh,
which I'm
wow.
really excited about too.
I love
Yeah.
it. It's a film,
This is going to be another feature. Yeah.
a feature like thriller or comedy.
This one's going to be kind of a dark thriller.
Because
Yeah.
I saw the trailer in Scrambled. Oh my God,
Oh my
it was
goodness.
troppo divertente. No, Marco, troppo divertente. It was hilarious. Please check him out in Scrambled. I love this. Oh my God, Mark is funny. Marco divertente.
I love
I
comedy.
love
Yeah.
it. That was like it wasn't because when I talked to you many times, and you're it seemed like more serious. I mean, that's what I feel, what I perceived. And when I saw you, I mean, you're serious. No, you have humor, but your humor maybe it's more like contained. Like it's not like
It's
like
very dry. Yeah.
like an Italian. You're like like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very dry, and
But
it's
in
very like,
Scrambled, it was great because it was subtle, però to me it was I really loved it. I loved the trailer, and I'd like to see the film. Did you like to play that part? Ti è
oh, it
piaciuto?
was fun. It was such a crazy concept. I loved it. It's taking this crazy idea of what a character can be, and then bringing yourself into it and grounding it in reality and being like, whoa, what if this person existed? And yeah, it's so much fun. And then when the writing supports the comedy, it creates a level that you can start at, and then from there, working off your co-stars, I should say.
Sì.
They are coworkers, yes. You just keep upping the ante, and with comedy, with expressive comedy like that, you really like the sky's the limit, so you can really go crazy.
Il cielo isn't the limit, right? Or is the sky
What?
isn't the limit, or is the limit?
I mean, I guess they're the same thing. Like, where does the sky
Okay.
end?
No, I'm gonna translate. I wanna translate.
Yeah,
Il
I don't know.
cielo.
Is it the sky? I thought the sky is the limit, is the limit, meaning like the sky is almost endless, so there is no limit. It
Right.
implies the
E
same thing.
infatti, yeah, il cielo è vero, non c'è limite, o ci può essere, dipende da come lo vediamo, it depends
Yeah.
how we want to see it. But do you think, Marco,
Marco.
Marco, baby, is there if you have any advice for an actor, an Italian actor, or an American actor, like, is there a key to make it? Like, you are a working actor, tu sei un attore che lavora. How did this happen? Like, it's about doing casting, it's about just luck, it's about studying acting. Like, for you, well, because you work a lot, you've been working a lot, and I know how difficult it is to be an actor in LA, especially in LA, because the competition is so high, la competizione è molto grande. Se c'è una chiave del successo, comunque un modo per continuare a recitare, casting o fortuna, cosa può essere? What could it be?
So yeah, I mean, for the main advice I would give is just do it. Find every opportunity that you can to create. Make a short film. Don't sit there and wait and be like, I will act when I get a studio movie, because like you're not gonna get to a studio movie until people can see what you can do. Like, you can be making silly skits that you put on YouTube, and suddenly someone's like, this person's funny. They'd be really great in this role in my movie that has a $3 million budget. And then suddenly you're in a $3 million movie, which is not a studio movie, but it's the beginning of a possible independent that could be picked up by a studio, could bring you into another role. So it's just continue doing it. Never be above jobs that thrill you creatively, but might not pay you as much in the beginning. because there's dues that got to be paid in that sense, where you do the work before you get the pay. And that's why when you're making $20 million a film, it's basically back pay for all the years and hours that you put into these other projects. So like eventually you can argue that it almost breaks even for some make a lot of money, but just do it. Like when I got out here, I saved enough money to just focus on trying to find representation and go to school. And then I realized I didn't want to try to get representation until I knew that I was good enough to start going out for some of these roles. So I enrolled in a school and I was there for a while. And then when I felt comfortable, I jumped into an actor's showcase, which is a night where you put together a scene with a scene partner, and there's a night where the entire audience is just agents, managers, and casting directors and all that. And then you perform, and then the next day, like, your information's on your headshot, and then they call you.
Is that how you found your agent, Mark?
That's how I found my first agent, yeah.
Okay, so
I did a showcase.
Sì, scusa, Marco dice... Marco, now you're Marco for me. Marco dice che comunque non aspettare il grande progetto pagato benissimo, comunque di recitare, di realizzare dei video magari anche per YouTube, perché qualcuno potrebbe notarti, quindi sempre essere in movimento con la tua carriera d'attore, di non aspettare la chiamata o il grande progetto. E lui, Mark è stato scoperto facendo uno showcase con diversi manager e agenti, e così ha trovato la persona che gli ha portato fortuna. So this person, I was an agent, you found an agent, right? Doing a showcase. Is it the same agent or did you change?
You'll likely change agents, because sometimes you'll start with a starter agent that can bring you to a certain level of your career, but they're not as much interested in higher level things, and then you graduate from there. Eventually the goal is to get with a rep that is like, invests in you, you invest in them, and the loyalty sticks, and you can just go off and create your careers together. But yeah, I mean, I got the first agent, I got my first audition, and this doesn't happen, so I'm not going to say it like in a way that makes people think, oh, it's easy. You go get an agent, then you get an audition, then you book a role. Like it is all timing as well. But my first audition was The Ghost Whisperer, which is a TV show that was on CBS. Years back. And I booked that, and it was like my first experience on a real television lot, on the Universal lot, working with, Jennifer Love Hewitt and other larger actors, and like really watching them and learning so much from them in that process. And then from there, it's a lot of rejection.
Casting. No.
You're going to be rejected more than you will be accepted. And that, I think, is the key to any actor's success, is recognizing that rejection as having nothing to do with you as an actor, having nothing to do with you as a person. There's a million different reasons why you're not going to get a role that have nothing to do with you. So thinking, I blew it, and like, going down that is
you should
your mental health is the most important thing when you're in this industry. Your mental health is the most important thing for you to protect.
La salute mentale è la cosa più importante, perché Mark Hapka dice che i rifiuti saranno molti più rispetto ai sì, però innanzitutto ti fanno crescere, e poi non è niente di personale. Se sei rifiutata, ci sono milioni di ragioni per le quali tu non puoi far parte di quel progetto, ma devi continuare. You have to keep going and on and on and on. I know what you mean. Like I was a dancer. For my dancing career was kind of the same. Not exactly like being an actor, but it was exhausting. But if you're passionate, at the bottom line, like, you need to be passionate of what you're doing. Se tu vuoi fare l'attore, as you said before, se decidi di fare l'attore, lo vuoi fare per tutta la vita. You want to do it for your entire life. And you are, by the way, like, you are a director as well. You would like to direct films. Do you have any project in life as a director or
So what I've been primarily focusing on as a director has been, I've been doing a lot of smaller videos, PSAs for everything going on in the world right now. I've directed a lot of like there's no real title for what they are, but like activations for like going to other cities. Like for example, I went to David City with the Hallmark Channel, and I basically documented this whole experience that took place and directed the video for that and put together a final
Ah,
sizzle of it, like basically a short film, a short doc for it.
is
I
it
do a lot of,
online, Mark? Is it
yeah,
online?
yeah, 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 you can
What's
find
the
it.
name? Sorry, what's the name?
Uh, if you search Christmas in David City, the Hallmark Channel, you'll probably find it. I don't really know exactly, but I
Okay,
can send you the
fine.
link if you want.
Sì.
Yeah, I'll
We
send you the
put
link.
it online. We put it under like
Yeah.
for the live.
Oh, thank you.
Uh,
And then like lots of music videos. Um, the goal is obviously feature film, and that's where I'm headed now. I'm in very early stages of a feature that I've been trying to get my hands on for a while, and I now have the rights to it. So me and my team are getting rewrites done to the script and just preparing, and that's one we'll probably kick off as soon as COVID decides to take a
no,
hike.
sì. No,
Yeah.
Mark è anche un regista e ha diretto dei video musicali e anche un altro documentario, ci dirà più tardi il titolo e poi lo posterò. E probabilmente girerà come regista un nuovo progetto. Is it a feature, Mark? Sarà un film?
Yes.
Ok, lui girerà un film prossimamente quando la situazione Covid sarà finita. Mark, do you have a phrase or something that always inspired you? You would like to share with us? Una frase che ti ispira, che ti dà coraggio, it gives you courage in your during your day and your life, nella tua vita?
Yeah, there's one specific quote that I'll butcher if I try to paraphrase, but essentially it says if you can think it, you can create it, and if you can dream it, you can become it. Essentially, so there's really no limits. But I think the one that fuels me the most now is just be relentless. If you have a goal and you have a vision, just be relentless, and as long as you're doing something each day that moves you towards that, then you're on track. And there's nothing that's going to get in your way. It's inevitable if you are actively working towards anything in life, whether it's acting or relationship or anything
And
in your life.
visualize, right? I mean, that's what I used to do, visualizzarti, visualize how and where you want to be when, like the details, right? To think about
Get very clear on the details. Yeah. And that's something that I have to keep reminding myself, because sometimes we're just like, I want to be an actor in LA. I want to be a director in LA, but like, what does that look like? What do you want to be getting paid? What kind of movies do you want to be making? Who do you want to be working with? Like at what level? And the best way to figure that out is like ask yourself, who inspires me the most? Which directors do I love? Which actors do I love? And then go get their autobiographies and start there, and get an idea for what they represent and what, you know, what they were after, and see if your morals and your visions align. And if they do, then that person's already kind of paved the way, and you can use their trials and tribulations as knowledge to move forward in your path.
Sì, Mark diceva prima, gli ho chiesto se aveva un quote, which is I can't remember the name in Italian again. Oh my God, how do you say quote? I'm blanking.
Quote?
A quote. Anyway, a
Just
quote.
what about a saying?
Una frase di...
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm blanking with Italian words, I don't know. Lui dice, se puoi sognarlo, se puoi pensarlo, lo puoi creare e lo puoi fare. E quindi questo è il suo consiglio, his advice for whoever and for all of you, all the actors around the world who are watching us. That's what you have to do, hard work, keep working, keep creating, continuare a creare. E le cose si realizzeranno, come in tutti i lavori alla fine, you know, with everything, visualizzare i dettagli di quello che vuoi fare. And I think also, Mark, and then I'm gonna let you go, and I really appreciate your time, grazie mille per il tuo tempo.
My pleasure.
Ma I think when it isn't clear in our mind, maybe because and I'm speaking for myself, maybe because we're not ready. I'm sure that once the details are coming to your mind, like everything is going to be settled, is because probably that's the right moment. When it's still fuzzy, probably there's still maybe some visualization to do, like some work to do. Una chiamata, probably a spam. Nobody's calling me right now. So dicevo che quando il progetto ancora non è chiaro nella nostra mente è perché forse non siamo pronti, quindi c'è ancora da aspettare. Be patient, right? Essere pazienti. I think. I mean, for me. Per me.
Absolutely.
Marco, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Just to ride on what you said, like, yeah, patience is key. Patience is key. Acceptance is key. If you walk around in a constant state of acceptance, then everything thrown your way, whether it's rejection or opportunity, you're going to be able to take it in and process it versus allow it to derail you or give you false hope, right? So if you are patient and if you accept, and then just have a mindset of, if that person can do it, then why can't I?
Yeah, se quella persona può farla, anch'io lo posso fare.
And why shouldn't I? Right? Like if it's got to be someone, why not me?
Esatto. Sometimes we see people, and by the way, I have to say, I have to look up. Quote is a citazione. Sorry. Citazione. I'm obsessed with, finding the right word. So yeah. Citazione is a quote. And yeah, exactly. Like sometimes we see like celebrities or people, I'll never become that, or I'll never reach that. No, why? They follow the path. It happened. So my path for sure is different. Il mio cammino e la mia carriera sarà diversa, però non vuol dire che sarà di meno valore. It doesn't mean it's going to be less worth it than what another person had, or the celebrity had, la celebrità ha avuto. Quindi forza e coraggio, and let's keep nourishing our dreams. Continuiamo ad alimentare I nostri sogni.
Sì.
Okay. Sì. Mark, io ti saluto. I want to say hi now. I don't want Instagram to cut me off brutalmente. Ti ringrazio tantissimo, Mark. Grazie mille del tuo tempo. Mark Hapka, check him out for all the project he's working on. I'm Sarah Z from La La Land. Un bacio.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Sarah. Ciao.
Ciao, Mark. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Vi aspetto presto con un nuovo guest e una nuova storia. Join me. Baci e abbracci. Sarah Z La La Land.